Hello, everybody. Um, Welcome. Almost New Year's here. Today is December 27th. Boy, I don't know what's happened here to 2021, but I guess it kind of snuck up on me. And here we are, just a couple days away from the new year. And if you're like me and many Americans, we're spending some time here thinking about our goals and resolutions and what it is that we can be doing to make 2022 as best as it can be. But have you ever wondered to yourself, why does it seem so difficult to stay focused around New Year's resolutions, and why do so many people make these resolutions only to find that they don't last? So I'm going to try to focus on New Year's resolutions a little bit about, I'll share with you a little bit about what some of mine are too. I don't stand out, I think, as a influencer when it comes to goal setting, but and I'll talk about that a little bit. But I do think that there are some great ideas here and some ways that we can help you here at Secured Retirement along your journey to getting better goals and getting the most out of your resolution. So here's that disclaimer. As most of you know, that I don't work for the federal government, and I'm not an attorney. I can't interpret tax law or draft legal documents, but we do a pretty good job, I think, here at Secured Retirement of helping families accomplish and achieve their goals in retirement. So I guess a lot of what we're going to be talking about is about what we do on a regular basis about helping families achieve what they want most in their retirement. So let's start with this. Of those people that are making New Year's resolutions, studies show us that, again, that so many families don't actually, it's probably no surprise, but that these New Year's resolutions actually oftentimes don't become, they don't come to fruition. Now, with that said, they also are saying that the lack of making many of the goals that people set actually come back to New Year's resolutions. So just because 75% of people make resolutions are still at it, but only 46% of us are still keeping going, it means that half the time, or maybe a little less than that, but a certain amount of time, enough of it is actually changing what we're looking to try to do, that it makes sense to make some New Year's resolutions. Now, when we look at these resolutions that are out there, finances are in the top three. If you've visited with me, you know that I may not be very an expert in being able to tell you how to lose a lot of weight, although that is one of my goals this year. So we'll see how I do. I'm going to hold myself accountable by just throwing it out there in space, and to those of you that are joining us today, to know that that is one of the big goals that I have set for myself. But an area I can help you with is this third one here: finances, and how to set and achieve and fulfill goals around your retirement planning. So as we think about how to set goals, now's a perfect time of the year to be doing this, right? We have some longer weekends. A lot of us might have some family around, but if you can find an area to start to just kind of do some thinking. What is it that we want to try to create in 2022, and maybe even longer term, as I'll share with you in a little bit, is probably the best place to start. I talk about, what are those things that we would like to accomplish someday? Write them down, put them on a sheet of paper, and start to materialize them, start to document them, and, share them with your partner or somebody that's special to you also helps a lot. So the first step to making sure that we can set New Year's resolutions around finances is to start to think about what we really want. Again, I start with what I call someday goals. And someday goals don't necessarily mean that they're going to even occur in the next 3 years, 5 years. It could be even out farther than 10 years. But there's someday goals and these things that you want to do. Maybe it's buying a condo in Florida someday. Maybe you're retired, or you're going to be retiring in the next 5 years. Is it realistic that that's going to happen in the next 5 years, or is it somewhere down the road? Everybody's situation is a little bit different, but start with those goals that even sometimes don't even feel super achievable, but someday, if only I could, like maybe owning a condo in Florida, or maybe you'd like to figure out how to get to the 0% tax bracket without compromising your income in retirement. Now, this is probably a goal that we see that we have helped a lot more families around than just helping them finance their condo in Florida. It's about showing families how we can help them reduce their taxes along the way. And if this is your goal in 2022, as I'll share with you in a little bit, I'd like to be able to help you with that journey. But whatever your goal, start with something longer term. What is that thing you'd like to do someday? I'm going to use this example of getting to a 0% tax bracket. Sometimes families hear this and they misinterpret what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about getting your income to zero so you don't pay taxes. I'm talking about having all the income you need to fulfill your lifestyle, but quite possibly getting to a 0% bracket, or in some cases we can't do that. Maybe you have a large pension or some rental income, but keeping you in the lowest bracket possible. This is maybe a someday goal, and maybe for some of you it's a 1 or 3 year goal, but we always start with that goal that's out there a little ways. And then my suggestion is let's start to break it into milestone goals that we can think about. So if I want to get to a 0% tax bracket, what are the things that I'm going to need to do in the next 3 to 5 years to make that a reality? I break down these goals that are longer term and seem so far out there, and the more I can bring them back into something that's more tangible, something more realistic, thinking of taking that someday goal and bring it into a 3 or 5 year goal. Study after study shows that that's the best way to actually get these resolutions accomplished. Now, with that said, both goals are important. That someday goal is your vision. It's where I want to get to. And without that, a lot of times the 3 to 5 or even the 1 year goals get a little bit harder because these might become a little bit more tactical. You need to think about tactically, what can I do? And then stepping back and saying, because I want to accomplish this. So for example, Joe Lucey said, I want to lose 100 pounds. Now, why do I want to do that? Well, because I'm going to feel healthier. I'm going to look better. I'll live longer. If all I am is looking at just what I have to do, what I'm going to have for lunch today, or whether or not I'm going to pass up on a piece of a Christmas cookie, when I'm in the middle of the tactical things that need to be done to get the long-term goal, I have to be able to go back and forth between those two. This is a fantastic time to do that. Spend some time this weekend, find a quiet spot, start with the someday goals, and then break it into chunks, these milestones. What's a 3 or 5 year realistic way that I can do that's the most important thing to accomplish this goal, whether it's a 0% tax or a place in Florida, or maybe it's just setting aside more money for retirement or paying off debt. What are the things I can do in the next 3 to 5 years to get that done? Break it into 1 year goals, quarterly goals, and then in some cases like losing weight, maybe I'm going to break it down to daily goals and weekly goals. So that's really the big secret, I guess, for today's um, presentation. I do want to talk a little bit about some ways that we can help you with this. Whatever your financial goal is, don't be afraid to use us as a resource. Even if you've been a client for several years, we have our Tax Smart retirement process. It always starts, or as we go through this, we always break it into 3 stages of design or 3 stages of planning. We break it into income and investment planning. We look at taxes, then we look at healthcare and family planning. As we go through our 3 stages, we want to take these one by one by one. Maybe you've already done this. It was something you did here several years with us. Well, if the goals have changed, there's no reason why we can't go back through this process. It's not it's what you're already, it's part of the value we bring our clients. If it makes sense and the goals are significant enough that we want to step back and go through a 3-stage design process, let us know. We always are offering these periodic reviews. So maybe the goals haven't changed that much, but let's see how we're doing. Let's measure up to what our standard should be and utilize the team here to make sure that we either are starting over or redesigning or amending what we had for our original retirement planning, or maybe we're already on track. We just need to kind of measure things. Now is a great time. January's usually a pretty busy month here in the office, as a lot of families are sitting down talking about maybe new goals or things that they want to accomplish in their retirement. Let us be a resource. Let the advisor team here show you how we can do that. Notice the book here, The Top 10 Mistakes That Increase Your Taxes. Here's another goal I have. I have my next book coming out here I should have it by the end of this quarter. But as part of that, we have put together a white paper called the top 10 mistakes that increase your taxes. And I want you to know that you can actually go to this website called thenewtaxsecrets.com and download it. It's just a PDF. I forgot if it's about 5 or 6 pages, but download that, use it as a scorecard, see how you're doing. If taxes are your number one goal to reduce this year, or long-term someday goals that you want to break down to what you can be doing today, I think it'll be a valuable resource. Look at our reports we have, take advantage of our periodic reviews, and if we must, go back to the planning. But go to this website, the New Tax Secrets. Go ahead and download this, and then you're also going to be on the preferred list when the book comes out, and we're going to make sure you get a complimentary copy right away. And I'm offering that to everybody. If you're a client or not, I want to make sure you get a copy of our book. We're probably going to be offering this on Amazon like our other books that I have, somewhere in the $20 range. I think $19.95 is what the publisher is suggesting. But I want to make sure everybody has a copy of this as it comes out. Again, probably not in January here, but I really hope that we're going to have this out to you before the end of this quarter. It's something that I started as we were going into COVID, and with all the changes that have occurred around COVID with stimulus and what have you, it's become even more imperative that we start looking at taxes and how we can help you reduce those. So finally, once you do get a goal, let's make sure we celebrate. Let's celebrate the successes we have. Quick little recap. Start with a big goal. Start with something that's out there, and you may not even have a timeline on when that can occur. Something like getting to a 0% tax bracket, but yet not sacrificing your lifestyle, the income you need to maintain your standard of living. Worst thing that families want to do is ever spend money that they wish they had back later. Most families are hiring us here. If you've listened to any of these, you've heard me say this before. It's because they want to make sure that they have an income stream they can't outlive. If I can make that a tax-free income stream, that's all the better. And if we can, we're going to help you grow the wealth, but never at the compromise of those two areas that most of the families we service find more valuable. So it's about putting together a full plan. And when we do get to a long-term goal, we want to make sure that we're part of the celebration that you can have about achieving those goals. Let's talk about some upcoming events as we get into the new year here. Make sure I don't have anything. I don't expect to see a whole lot of notes. If somebody wants to post a note up there, I'll make sure we address it here. But I think that, today's pretty high level type stuff, and we're really just trying to set everybody up for success here in 2022. So we're going to start next week with creating some better financial behaviors. We have a report that we can download around that. So we're going to be spending time next Monday, January 3rd, as we get into next year around that. On the 24th of January, we're having our lunch and learn. This is the, we do the market huddles every Monday, and we're going to continue to do that in 2022. But on the third Monday of every month, this case will be January 24th, we have a lunch and learn. We invite everybody in, share some lunch with us, visit in our conference room, our classroom, and we try to get into something, sometimes not even that in depth around finances. Sometimes it's around finances, but we've done these on things from veterans events to doing something around what to do with your plants as we get into winter. It's a little late for that, looking outside, but we try to do all kinds of different things. But that's a good opportunity for us to kind of sit down, and sometimes families will come to us and just kind of pull us aside and say, hey, there's this one thing I didn't want to take up a full meeting on. So if you haven't been to our lunch and learns, come and join us for that. Reminder, we're going to be closed here on the 31st for our celebration of the new year, but we will be back again on Monday, January 3rd, and we're going to start off with another huddle just like this. You want to reach out to us, here's the best way to do it. You can either email us at info@securedretirements.com. The office number there, 952-460-3260. Schedule a review, or maybe just reach out and discuss with your advisors here what it is that you really want to try to get accomplished next year, and then use us as a resource. So I don't see any other notes. So I'll kind of wrap this up a little short here this week. Didn't want to get into anything too where we had to think too much about it, just because, I think that between the holidays and New Year's, it's always a time that we're trying to spend time with maybe friends and family a little bit more, and it's kind of a good downtime. So that's why we thought that talking about goal setting and what to do there. Find some accountability partners. Let us help you with that. If it's around finances, if it's like a bigger goal like me, I want to lose some weight. I'm going to find my accountability partners. In fact, we have a whole team here that's going to be holding themselves like kind of accountability partners about losing some weight. Let's see how much weight. We should do a little over under thing here. How much weight can secured retirement lose in 2022? But again, if it's around finances, feel free to reach out to us. Info at Secured Retirements or the office number 952-460-3260. Anyways, I hope that this was valuable. And, I remember as a kid growing up, we'd all get walking out as we were going to the holiday break, to Christmas break, and everybody would say, "See you next year, see you next year." And, we only knew it was like 2 weeks away. Well, I'm going to say it now. See you next year. Use us as a resource in 2022. And we thank everybody that works with us, or if you'd like to, uh, if you're would like to set aside some time, let's make sure we can review your goals with you. Have a great rest of the holiday and Happy New Year.